Mr. Frias?
Just a few questions. You brought up the issue of bundling amendments that include different types of topics. Hasn't the General Assembly in the past had amendments that proposed to the public that included bundling of different concepts? For instance, in 1994, they proposed an amendment that downsized the General Assembly, but at the same time increased its pay. So in the same sense, for instance, I was a voter at the time. I was kind of torn about the issue because I wanted a smaller size assembly, but they didn't want to give them increased pay and free family health care. Would you agree that bundling amendments do occur by the General Assembly?
Not the way they do at a constitutional convention. No, I would not agree with that. I mean, you may be able to choose one or two amendments that the General Assembly has done and parse them into a couple of issues, but again, it's nothing like the 1986 convention, which didn't have two or three. Some had 5 or 6 amendments tied together.
My question was, is it possible? The General Assembly, yes. Thank
sure.
you. When you indicated that outside that money can influence a constitutional convention or issues raised by a constitutional convention, campaign money, hasn't campaign money also influenced other types of ballot issues in this state put forward by the General Assembly, for instance, casino?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you agree that it is good, and let me ask you, this is a subjective question, have good amendments come out of a constitutional convention in the past?
I'm only familiar with the 1986 convention, and I would say nothing that passed out of the 86 convention was worth it. No.
Not the Ethics Commission amendment?
No, I mean, that's an interesting one. The Ethics Commission amendment was one of the few so-called good government reforms that passed the convention, and here we are 30 years later complaining about that the 1986 convention language we need another convention in order to correct the language that was passed in 1986.
Would you agree that the reason we are trying to change the language in the amendment is due to a Supreme Court decision that was enunciated at the end of the last decade in regards to Senator Irons?
No, I would say it's because of ambiguity in the language that was passed by the 86 convention.
Okay, thank you. It's legal interpretation.
Are there any other questions or comments?